Jackson was talking about Rosamond Pike and Saltburn, and I missed my yes. And that is bad because people tune in at 10:04 to hear that.
I know. It's on me.
Time check, Clarkson Jewelers. Hello, it's Balloon Party. Let me do it for you. This is just for the ladies in the balcony. Yes. Michael Jackson said that at the Grammys. And it was odd because he had taken Emmanuel Lewis as his date.
What about when he took Bubbles?
Did he take Bubbles as a date?
I thought that was the thing. Is he took like a pet chimpanzee?
No, he would take small boys.
There's a lot of issues there.
314-399-9646. Your thoughts on Michael Jackson's date to the 1984 Grammys. You can also give your comments on that in the YouTube chat. Air Alliance team sponsored the studio cameras on YouTube. My name is Timothy Michael McKernan. That's Jackson Burkett Jackson. I'm angry as a hornet right now because I thought it was supposed to be sunny today. And I know you were getting out to St. Louis Country Club to play, and I know you're mad about this.
Better than a hornet, Tim. I think it's going to be okay. I think temperature is going to be optimal today.
Oh, is that right?
I think the high is
You okay? What happened there?
I'm getting emotional just thinking about the weather and Rosamond Pike for so many reasons. 70, I think, is the high today.
All right.
Lower. Usually in these nice spring days, Tim, and you know as well as I do, that if it's going to be a beautiful day, it's also going to be super windy.
That's correct.
But I think today might be the very rare exception where it's lower wind. It might have some cloud coverage, but I'll take cloud coverage and good warmth over beautiful skies, but super windy.
How are the greens over at St. Louis right now?
They're rolling at about 12, so, if you got a downhill putt, you just got to kiss it.
Yeah,
I'll get there.
For those of you who play in St. Louis with Jackson today, you can text in. You go to the front of the line. It's a cast system we have here on Balloon Party. 314-399-9646. This is a special program because we're talking tournament. Yeah. We're talking Blues and Senators. We're talking Blues and Wild. We're talking Katie Wu talking to John Bazilak about no Victor Scott on the opening day Worcester. No Sonny Gray on the opening day Worcester. And we're talking about the Valspar. All these topics, I'm sure, coming out in this Little Piddles Friday six-shooter.
Yeah.
What are you going to lead with? I can't wait to see what you're going to lead with.
Sometimes, Tim, in those old Western movies, they would grab they call them their sidearms, and I always liked that. And they always say, give up your guns. And the saloon owner they would give them the pistol, and the saloon owner would be like, okay, that's good. They'd always have one on their ankle, again, in a side pocket. You got to ask for all the pistols, all the sidearms. I got 2 sidearms for you, 3 apiece. Let's kick it off. Blues hockey. Blues
hockey. Jackson's leading with the Blues and Senators over the tournament. Wow, what a moment.
I know. Tim, yesterday, up until the Oakland, Kentucky game, I would have said the Blues are for sure the lead. Not even a question, because most of the tournament kind of went. Duchesne beating BYU wasn't that big a surprise, to be honest.
Duchesne. It's always got to be a private school. Duquesne, please.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, I always, because the school here,
right,
in St. Charles County, is Duchesne.
Now, why'd you say that?
Well, I just was giving the location of where the school is. It's right by St. Charles West. Go Pirates. Am I wrong on that? Are they the Warriors? I always get those two confused. I don't get out there as much as I'd like to.
I don't like what's going on right now. And I'd like to just make it clear I distance myself from what I feel like is 636 shaming from somebody with a tea time at St. Louis Country Club at, what do you have, 12:42 today?
Yeah, well, hopefully get out there a little earlier, get some work in. Really trying to shorten the backswing. Duquesne beating BYU wasn't the biggest surprise. 11 seeds went 3-0 yesterday.
And now New Mexico.
Yeah, talking about the Lobos. But I think the Blues are the lead, given the circumstance coming down the home stretch of the season. Still a chance to make the playoffs, get a win against the Senators. Hey there, Joel Hofer. What a performance. What a performance.
Yeah, that save, he had a number of them, but where he's like rolling over and stops the puck in a weird way in a 5-2 game. That was a game that the Blues could have fallen behind in a big way, and it was Joel Hofer who saved the day. So this is weird. 2 of the last 3 games playing against subpar opposition, 2 teams going nowhere in the Ducks, and last night the Senators. And the Blues had a slow start, but they were able to overcome it. Jordan Kyrou with a goal and 2 assists, 3.9 from him. Jake Neighbors with 2 goals. Joel Hofer was outstanding. And they win a game that they should win, and they did win. And then that sets the stage for tomorrow in Minnesota. Pre-game at 12 p.m. here on 101 ESPN. It's a 1 p.m. face-off. So you're sitting there, you're watching tournament, you're watching the Blues, you're watching the Valspar, Cardinal baseball. What else can you ask for? Going to be a little chilly. Sun's going to be out tomorrow, Jackson, but it's not going to be as warm as it's supposed to be today. You might not play all 18 tomorrow. I don't know, 36. I don't know what you have up your sleeve.
Pretty optimal tournament viewing weather this weekend.
Because it's not glorious.
Right. Friday today, like good opportunity to get outside, get some fresh air. There's good games on tonight. And then Saturday and Sunday, it's going to be a little chillier. Perfect time to literally just sit inside and watch tournament and whatever sport you want.
Because you don't judge people by the sports that they watch.
Well, I just hope people don't judge me based on the sports that I watch.
Yeah, it's a two-way street. But if you were up last night, you saw Vegas beat Seattle. And so the Blues were not able to pick up any points on the Golden Knights. But they did leapfrog Minnesota, and they will see both of those teams here over the next few days. Minnesota tomorrow, and then back in St. Louis to take on Vegas. And I would tell you this, considering at this point with the run Nashville is on, that whether it be Vegas and the Kings trading spots for that 3 seed in the Pacific, or Vegas and Los Angeles trading spots to go against St. Louis and Minnesota for the wild card. There are 3 teams competing for 1 spot. And therefore, considering the Blues are playing 2 of those teams here over the next 4 days, you best win them. It's playoff hockey. It's not a best of 7, but you best win. And tomorrow is an incredibly important game. Jeremy Rutherford teased that article that just came out on The Athletic, and he talked with Cam Jansen, one of my all-time favorite human beings, and David Backes in particular, about that 2009 team that made a run at the end of the year to get into the playoffs, and they made such a run that they wound up becoming the 6th seed and taking on the Canucks in the first round. And I think it was Cam who was saying the experience they got from playing a team at that level laid the foundation for guys like Backes, who was only in his 2nd year in 2009, and then David Perron, who obviously came and went to St. Louis for when they returned to the playoffs in 2012, and they did win a series there before losing to the eventual Cup champion LA Kings. So the bottom line is get in, get that experience, and with the play they're getting in goal, in particular from Binnington, but we saw Hofer last night, who knows? Maybe they would wind up playing those very same Canucks again, Jackson, and maybe this time the result can be different. Just get in. But there's such a difference in playing games that matter at this time of year, and barring a huge surprise, the Blues will be playing games that matter at the very least for the next week. And if they can win tomorrow and win Monday, that's going to extend how long they're going to be playing games that matter. And what's going on here ever since that game in Boston is they are playing, they're either winning and not playing great, or they're playing really well and not winning. And that's how I would describe the Colorado game. But they didn't play great against Anaheim. They didn't necessarily have it going last night against Ottawa, but they were able to get 4 points, and those were ones you expect. Tomorrow and Monday, those are ones you need. And this is going to define that playoff run here over the next 72 or so hours. 314-399-9646, Air Comfort Service text line. The YouTube chat is active. Yeah, sure enough, Tiny Peepee's in there talking it with I Hate Paper Straws. And then John Scores, Droid Effects. And is it Duar? Is it Duar or Doar?
I'll go do.
Yeah, Duar says he's high on James Madison.
I am too. Very high on James Madison.
You like James Madison.
Beating the Badgers
but
today.
You liked Samford as well, and they came up short against Rock Chalk.
No. I got one. Can I give a quick thing on the Rock Chalk Samford game?
Sure.
Because I know the hot topic is about the foul call at the end there. I don't know if you saw it. Chase down block. It was all ball. There's no doubt about it. However, I'll say, and this is credit to Kansas in the way, it looks like a foul. And oftentimes, if it looks like a foul, it's called a foul. I don't think it's right. Probably should have, they probably should have challenges. But it looked.
Oh, God, if they had challenges for foul calls, holy crap.
Yeah, no, they do in the league, but it would be brutal. But that was no doubt. But one thing, Stop going up for two-handed dunks in transition. It's such a great way to break your arm.
For all of you kids listening right now.
Like, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. That's not even a question. If he goes up with his right hand, protect the body, use your body to protect the ball and go up and slam it, you are fine. It's not even a question. You get the bucket. Now we have questions. And also, you can really hurt yourself. Stop going up for these two-handed dunks in transition. It's so dumb.
With
so dumb.
regard to that call, I did not stay up to watch it, but I woke up to watch a variety of different highlights of tournament games and post-game coverage. And based on what I was seeing on social media and some group texts I'm in, I was like, oh, my God, we're going to have another rock chalk moment, except this isn't going to be at Fog Allen.
Right.
And then when I saw it, I go, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. It probably was all ball, but if I'm the official, I totally understand making 100%. That call. So I didn't see that as...
It looks like a foul. If it looks like a foul,
egregious.
It is.
And this is coming from somebody who, I mean... The last few minutes when Kansas is down at home is just, it's one of the most amazing. And again, I went to Missouri, but I don't have it out for KU. I think KU fans would acknowledge it's,
Yeah, I do have it out
situation.
for KU.
I know you do, but I don't. And I'm just going, it's like, if I see KU down by like 8 or less with 5 minutes left in a game at Kansas, I'm heading to a live bet situation to bet Kansas all day long. And then magically, it winds up working out for him. All right, so Kansas is going to be taking on Gonzaga.
Yep.
Mark Few, the head coach of Gonzaga, not happy last night because his team's pulling away from McNeese State about 3 minutes into the game, since I think they were shooting 60% from the field at the half, 8 of 10 from 3. And so at the Delta Center in Salt Lake, they just started playing the Oakland, Kentucky game on the Jumbotron instead. And the fans were bored by the McNeese State and Gonzaga game. So they were chanting, "Here we go, Oakland, here we go," as they wanted to see Kentucky lose. So Mark Few goes to the scorer's table and tells them to stop playing the game. The fans start booing, so then they start playing the Oakland and Kentucky game again, and Mark Few is furious. And then they asked him to take it off, and they finally did. And then after the game, he let loose on the fact that they were playing a different game above his team's game, and McNeese State for that matter.
I see where Coach Few is coming from. He's one of the best coaches in college basketball, if not the. So you got to respect it. However, when you're up 30 points in the tournament game, and everyone knows that, like, the tournament, the most fun way to watch the tournament isn't necessarily in the building unless you're rooting for one of the teams. It's watching at home so you can watch all the different games, especially in the round of 64. I respect the people at the Delta Center for saying, hey, let's put this game on to give the people what they want. I don't think it's that far out of bounds for an arena to do something like that.
Gonzaga and Kansas on one side of the bracket, and ILL will take on Duquesne.
Yeah.
First tournament since 1977, and they were able to upset BYU as an 11 seed, Duquesne, and Illinois as Illinois. A little tight there at the outset, Jackson.
First
for about
half was
30
rough.
minutes of that game, it was in question, and then the Fighting Illini pull away, and they are a win against Duquesne from the Sweet 16 and a run in this tournament.
Let me tell you something.
Tell me something.
Terrence Shannon might be the best player in college basketball.
That's a take.
And that's coming from someone who's on the Dalton Connect train hard.
What about the Zach Edey train?
Zach Edey, I could see it. But, like, right now, Terrence Shannon is playing unbelievably well. He is so
Is he going to carry the ILL?
I'm a little concerned about if they go up against someone with a real dominant big man. They don't have the inside presence like they once had with Kofi Coburn. However, the shooting, Damask, if I'm mispronouncing the name, sorry, but the 10th triple-double in NCAA tournament history, impressive. Like, they are fully loaded and obviously super well coached. I love Brad Underwood. So all respect to ILL. They'll have their hands full. Duquesne plays well, baby. They play well. They're playing inspired basketball, much like the Blues are playing inspired hockey. Tim.
Oh, full circle. Wow, beautiful. Thing of beauty. Fun to watch Jackson execute here. It is 10:18 in St. Louis. Time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers. We'll take a break, come back with more of the Little Piddles Friday six-shooter. Jackson, tease the audience and see how good your teasing skills have become 27 months into Balloon Party's history.
Sure. This time next week at this exact time, we'll be breaking down the Cardinals' opening day result. So I think it's a good time, for being a week away, to talk about kind of the state of the union with the Cardinals. An article posted in The Athletic as well, ranking the 30 best opening day rosters. Be curious to see what people think. Curious where people think the Cardinals sit on that list. Some news from Katie Woo talking about Sonny Gray's status, maybe Victor Scott's status.
Yep.
So a lot of good stuff coming with that. And then we'll have tournament talk after that. This show's loaded for bear is what it is.
Yeah, it is, and it's an exciting time of year, and Jackson is carrying the torch for the excitement with his Little Piddles Friday six-shooter. This is Balloon Party, driven by Munganess St. Louis Acura and Munganess Burkhardt Alton Toyota on 101 ESPN and the 101 ESPN YouTube channel. Welcome back, Balloon Party 101 ESPN, driven by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. Tim McKernan, Jackson Burkett with you, and Jackson has this Little Piddles Friday six-shooter talking Blues, talking tournament in the first segment, now talking Cardinal baseball. Jackson, what do you have here?
So we're a week away, from opening day. And it's looking unlikely that the Cardinals will have Sonny Gray or Victor Scott, for that matter, for their opening day lineup. One for health reasons and one for I'm just honestly not sure. What is the state of the Cardinals as we are just a week away from opening day action? Why no Victor? Who's going to start? And what is going on?
I think if Dylan Carlson would have had a bad spring, Victor Scott would have been in there. I think it's as cut and dried as that. I would love to see Victor Scott, but I am biased because I am enamored by speed, probably from some kind of childhood psychology thing in which I associate nostalgia with Vince Coleman, Willie McGee, Ozzie Smith, Tommy Herr, and to an extent, Cesar Cedeno. Jackson, as far as Sonny Gray goes, reading between the lines in Katie Woo's column this morning on the Cardinal opening day roster, her projections, and I would gather that they're going to start him on the IL.
Yeah.
and maybe target him to be the opening day starter in St. Louis when the Cardinals take on the Marlins in 13 days. So that is my read. So that means they will go up against the Los Angeles Dodgers with Michaelis, Lynn, Gibson, and Zach Thompson.
Might be tough. I said yesterday
Tough.
in the 4-game set, you set the over-under at 1.5 wins there.
Uh-oh, you moving money around now?
I'm still going to be a little optimist and say that they could get 2 wins. They'll split the series. However, that is just obviously the Dodgers have about as good a staff as you're going to find. And not having Sonny Gray, who's like the only piece that you're really confident in right now on the pitching staff, that's a tall order. But hey, maybe they'll outslug them. It certainly seems like the Dodgers are well-versed in slugging. What they score like a combined 20 runs in the opening day games in South Korea. So certainly going to be up against it. However, it's a 162-game season. Even if they start out the first month 5-6 games below 500, even worse, it's a long year. I think they'll find their stride eventually. I hope, at least.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I don't know, man.
Look at Randy Reitzholder in here. Look at you.
And it could be the case. I just... so often I feel like, we hit the doomsday button sometimes a little early. Not saying we, you, anyone here. Just as the general discourse, and certainly around the Cardinals, is like slap the doomsday button, sell the team to wallet kind of thing. And sometimes,
I saw you tweeting that.
I often. But, in a 162-game schedule, there's not 1 week or even 2-week stretch that defines a team, Come talk to me come All-Star break, and if things are really sour, then we can have a conversation.
Audience, you are allowed to talk to Jackson during the All-Star break.
And only then.
Yes, other than that, please leave him alone when he's out in public. He is not going to sign or take a selfie. He just isn't going to do that. John Denton reporting Sonny Gray's scheduled 2-inning session against minor league hitters was washed out by rain today. Not word yet from the Cardinals on whether Gray will pitch on Saturday or how it affects his rehab going forward. For the record, he strained his hamstring on March 4th. So he was supposed to throw against minor leaguers today, and he was not able to do that, not because of injury, but because of rain in South Florida.
That's at this point, I feel like the ball club is what it is. Like the lineups we've seen is probably going to be what the opening day roster or opening day lineup will be. I don't think much more out of the spring is going to change anything. But you're right. Dylan Carlson had a good spring. I guess it's encouraging, although I almost rather way he didn't, so that Victor Scott can step up. Yeah. Especially I know I talked about
either way. Victor Scott isn't far away. I mean, one way or the other. And speed is something that doesn't slump.
Right.
And defense usually does not slump unless there's some kind of injury, of course. Same with speed. But he's got both of those things. And I would imagine at some point you're either going to see that in St. Louis, you'll see it acquired or traded for an acquisition that could help the Cardinal rotation if they are indeed in the mix. Jackson, do you have a third question here on this little piddle? Is this fourth question? Or where are we on the little piddle 6-shooter?
I guess this is 2.5 or 3.
Okay.
Jim Bowden released his rankings of the 30 opening day rosters.
Yes, he did. For
Major League Baseball. And I'm not sure if Cardinal fans could guess where the Cardinals sit.
I don't think it's middle of the road, so I don't think it necessarily would be all that eye-opening, because I think that's kind of how fans view the team, is middle of the road.
Yeah.
He has the Braves 1, Dodgers 2. That's probably what I would have moved a lot of chips in the middle. That's where it would have been. Just a matter of, do you put Dodgers 1 or Braves 1? Then he goes Rangers 3, Astros 4, Phillies 5, Orioles 6, Yankees. Certainly that's a wide delta right now with the pitching situation and Cole, but he's got them at 7. Your defending national last season, Christian Encarnacion Strand had a chance to be a middle-of-the-order impact bat for years to come. That's his observation on the Reds. Then we go to the Padres, 11, Twins, 12. We got another Central team at 13, but it isn't the Cardinals. Chicago Cubs, Mets, 14, another Central team at 15. The Brewers, the Mariners, and then the Cardinals. And he writes, the Cardinals are hoping for bounce-back years from Goldschmidt and Arenado and breakout seasons from second baseman Nolan Gorman, outfielder Jordan Walker, and outfielder Lars Nootbaar. Rookie center fielder Victor Scott might not make the team out of spring training, but it won't be long before he's helping the Cardinal offense. So the Cardinals at 17. I'm just operating on the premise that it has to be the Pirates or Rockies at 30, and I have not looked. I knew the Cardinals were 17.
Do you want to fire or bet, Tim?
I feel like I could be missing a team. They wouldn't put the Red Sox down there. I think the Red Sox are as bad because of the division they're in, and they didn't do much this offseason. But I think if they're in the Central, in either Central, they could win it. Who's the biggest butt-ass in the American League Central? It's not the Twins. It's not the Tigers. It's not the Guardians. Oh, it looks like I picked up a read right there.
Might be in the wrong division.
I'm going to say it's the Rockies, 30th.
The Rockies, Tim, are actually at number
29. Oh, the
29.
A's.
The Oakland A's at 30.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Pirates at 22.
What?
I kept scrolling looking for them. They have them at 22.
How about that?
In
Big
front
year.
of Kansas City, LA Angels.
Yeah, basically everybody in the American League Central. The A's 30. Nah, it stands to reason.
Yeah, Pirates at 22.
The weird thing is, and I know I've said this before on Balloon Party, but my daily fantasy guy, he says he loves the A's over. Now, I'll make that clear. That doesn't mean he thinks the A's are going to win 80 games.
Right,
it's just the over-under, I think, is 56.5, and he's projecting them winning 68. But that's still a pretty nice gap. And the under that he likes the most is the Reds. He's got them at 77.5 wins, 78.5, and their total is right around the Cardinals at 84.5. So just do with that what you want.
Yeah. On both of those, I feel like people are way too they're like, oh, the Reds, all these young players. Like, nah, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're all going to have breakout seasons. We know here in St. Louis that veteran presence is the key.
That's what's going to win games.
Real freestyle question. What do you think is your mindset if you are a player who just got signed to the Oakland A's this season and you're playing for a franchise where the city no longer enjoys your presence?
The truthful answer, I'm probably thrilled to have a job in the major leagues. That's the honest answer. And you know you're not going to compete. You know you're not going to have much pressure outside of to stay at major league level. Yeah. But it'll probably be pretty fun.
Yeah,
because there's zero pressure. Those guys historically have had a really good time, the A's.
Yeah, good city.
And, you know, you're not expected to do much.
Yeah.
So
enjoy the temperate weather.
And that's probably the mindset. I'm just kidding. Like the Rockies are kind of a constant.
I know, a farm system for the Cardinals.
Yeah, it has been. It really has been. And then, I mean, for real, Kyle, Holiday, Arenado. I mean, I know Holiday came over through the A's, but they were talking with him well before he got to Oakland.
Larry Walker.
And Larry Walker at the end of his career in 2004. It's been quite a little arrangement for the Cardinals to have that quadruple A system they've got in Denver. Take a commercial break. It's 10:32. This is Balloon Party on 101 ESPN. James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency in Webster Groves is my insurance agent, and I'd like him to become your insurance agent as well. He is online at carltoninsurance.net. His number is 314-961-4800. He has 362 five-star reviews on Google. How about this one from Don Hartman? He wrote, James has been very accommodating in answering any questions and completing a thorough evaluation of our needs. He has had several positive recommendations and is always sure to provide the best coverage for our personal situation. Can't say enough great things about James and the service he provides. Everyone I've worked with in his office has been so helpful and efficient as well. Fantastic experience every time. That's one of 362 five-star reviews for James Carlton in the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. 314-961-4800 or go online at carltoninsurance.net. If your insurance costs a leg and an arm, call James Carlton, State Farm.
This is Action Jackson with a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues win last night, defeating the Ottawa Senators. The Blues will be back in action tomorrow, taking on the Minnesota Wild. You can catch that game right here on 101 ESPN, the home of the Blues. Pre-game starts at noon and puck drop at 1 p.m. And you got plenty of NCAA Tournament coverage coming up tonight on 101 ESPN. The coverage will start at 6 p.m. with plenty of action in the tournament. And last night in the NBA, the Wizards defeat the Kings 109-102. Kyle Kuzma with 31 points. That was another SportsCenter update driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Welcome back. 101 ESPN's Balloon Party. It's 1 hour of midday radio brilliance. Tim McKernan, Jackson Burkett with you. And Jackson puts together this Friday six-shooter here, and I just have to be prepared. I can't wait to see what's next on the itinerary. Jackson? Jackson, are you with us?
Yes. Hello, friends.
My God. What was going on over there?
I was switching things around, just making sure everything was situated.
Where's Rocky? See here. What about T. Diddy?
I think both of those guys are better at this than me. I stink. Rock's got a big old head, though. I don't mean to take shots.
Wow.
He does. I mean, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's got a big old head.
Nowhere.
He's got a big dome. It's okay. He's got a great head of hair.
And now he's attacking Rocky. It was head size.
He's got a great head of hair, though, and I can't compete with that.
I don't know. I'm going to distance myself from this segment as well.
John Calipari mentioned something after their loss to Oakland that I found poignant. He said that he hates that these players will be remembered by this one game, but it's just the nature of the tournament. Well, we can all say that March Madness is super fun. It can't be the right way to decide a champ, is it? Do you think that part of this kind of crapshoot of a tournament, is part of the reason that you're not as into college basketball as you once were?
No, and I thought in a stunning development, Shaquille O'Neal made the observation yesterday that he is looking forward to the women's tournament more than the men's tournament. Mm-hmm. And I think the reason for that, I actually share that. You know, I mean, I really do.
A lot more star power.
And it's the star power. Yeah. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what I was trying to figure out. Why am I not? Because it isn't. I know people would say that's because Missouri's no good. But Missouri was in it last year, and I was kind of like, I mean, if Missouri would have lost in the second round in the 80s, 90s, or 2000s, it would have emotionally impacted me. Mm-hmm. Last year, I was kind of like, you know, okay, whatever. And I'm just like, why can't I get back into it even when Missouri wins a game? And I think it is that star power thing. I was watching Oakland and Kentucky last night, and I'm like, I don't know who these people are, you know? Mm-hmm. Back in the day, the star power is what brought people to either love to watch games and or love to watch teams lose. The one that's the obvious that I always lean on is Christian Laettner, but I mean, it's like the ultimate example. But you have star power, you have recognizability in the college game for the women right now. And so I legitimately, I mean, if I had an opportunity to, you know, I had something on my schedule, I'm not going to move it around to watch Iowa or South Carolina or LSU play. But if it's on and I'm hanging out at home, I'm probably going to watch that.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's the same deal as last night and during the day and watching Illinois play. But yeah, it is that star power thing. Your question, though, specific to the tournament and the integrity of the competition, yeah, I would agree with it. I understand that. However, with regard to the NCAA, this is the way that they've been doing it for how long? I mean, it's not new. I feel like baseball is blowing up the integrity of its regular season, and it's a full-on crap. Our game is, you know, trying to find some traction with younger people. We got to do anything we can to keep damn near every team in it all the way until mid-September at least. And so you can win a division and lose in a best of three and your season's over. Like I said, I mean, a perfect example here in St. Louis is the 2022 season's viewed as a failure, and it I just refute that. But I'm sure in Lexington, Kentucky, if somebody were to come on today on Sports Talk Radio and say the 2024 Kentucky Wildcats were a great team, all hell would break loose. I would imagine they're calling for his head this morning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big time.
But that's also rooted in the fact that they've lost, they're 1-4 in their last 4 NCAA tournaments, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct, Tim. Yeah, it's dark times in Lexington on the basketball side for sure.
I'm anxious to see what winds up happening this year with the tournament and the Final Four, because last year, UConn won it, and what do you recall what seed they were?
Either a 1 or a 2.
Okay, but obviously, I say obviously, how many people would remember the Final Four from last year? But Florida Atlantic, San Diego State, Miami were the other 3. If you start to see more of the lower seeds get in, and what that will tell you. For example, specific to the game you cited in Kentucky and Calipari losing to Oakland, I didn't feel like I used to feel when I saw a 3 lose. It was a huge deal. I feel like Missouri has lost as a 3 many times.
Yeah, right.
It was a huge deal. Oakland's reaction was relatively calm. Now, I know they were leading, albeit not by huge amounts, but leading for the final 14 minutes of that game. You had the Matthew Perry lookalike.
Golke?
Yeah, saying...
God, could he stroke it. Oh, goodness gracious.
The last time he's hit a 2-point basket, by the way, was in their senior night game. So he's gone, I think, 4 games with only scoring 3s or free throws, which is phenomenal. All he does is shoot 3s. Saying we're no Cinderella.
Yeah.
So... I don't think that schools view these upsets. The idea of a 16 beating a 1 used to be like, I wonder if we'll ever see it.
Right.
And it's just not as big of a deal now, which I think speaks to the parity and that the best players are going to the NBA. And so you just don't. And now you have Calipari, when one and done was literally the methodology from 2012 through 2015, going, I think my system might be a little outdated. And we're losing to, and Golke's 24 years old, we're losing to teams that have more veteran cohesion because they've played with each other, or they're hitting the transfer portal and they're having success there. So the one and done phenomenon might be outdated, even though it's not that far removed. Point being, overall in the tournament, yeah, it is absolutely fluky, but I think what is calling more attention to it, because the tournament's been around for decades, is that the gap between, say, a 3 seed and a 14 isn't what it used to be. There's still a huge gap between a 1 and a 16, even though we've seen 16s win in the last decade. I think that gap is reduced, and so that then calls more attention to, man, Kentucky, was a very good team. They lost in the quarterfinals of the SEC tournament a week ago to Texas A&M, but now their season is viewed as a failure. Is that right? Well, this has been going on for decades. The difference now is I get the sense that you're seeing more and more upsets. Like we've been talking about the 11 seeds and how 11 seeds, this is not the first year 11 seeds have had success.
No.
11 seeds are 3-0 so far in the tournament, and the team you like the most, New Mexico, of the 11 seeds, could make it 4-0.
Yeah.
That used to be kind of a big deal. A 12 beating a 5 was a big deal, even though it was relatively commonplace. I think it just speaks more to the parity. And then that makes people go, God, a team was a 3 seed and they got knocked out in the first round? Yeah. And that's happening more and more. Maybe something's not right about it, but they're not going to change the NCAA tournament.
No, if anything, they'll expand it.
Right.
But yeah, definitely on that, and especially with Kentucky and like the one done thing you were talking about. Last night was a glaring example of that, because they were making freshman mistake after freshman mistake, fouling jump shooters.
But God, were they hitting some shots. I know Golke was hitting shots, but
Dillingham.
Kentucky was hitting shots left and right. Going, how are they still losing based on the ability to hit shots from everywhere? And don't get me wrong, Oakland was doing the same thing, but it's not like Kentucky just couldn't shoot.
Oh, I know it.
They were on I think 6 straight field goals or 3s.
Yes.
Toward the
Reeves and Dillingham were going crazy.
Second half.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a case of that. I just think there's parity isn't the right word. I would just say the chasm between a 14 and a 3 is reduced. 10:46 in St. Louis. Clarkson Jewelers time check here on 101 ESPN. This program is called Balloon Party and is brought to you by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, and Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. Welcome back. This is Balloon Party, final segment for the week, Jackson. What's on your itinerary for the weekend? I always like to live vicariously through this 26-year-old. Used to be most eligible bachelor in St. Louis, but now man in love.
Yeah, Marty Monogamy over here.
Yeah, Marty Monogamy, they call him.
Play a little afternoon round today.
Yeah, log.
Log and connect it up with Bogey. Play a full tilt. And then plenty of tournament action to watch this weekend. I'll do a lot of that. Hang out with my girlfriend. It'll just be lovely.
Where are you guys going?
I don't know. I'll probably get dinner somewhere.
Probably you're at a point where you don't even have to make plans. You just spend time together. This is moving very quickly.
It's nice, though. I like that. I like doing like a setup thing, but it's also nice to sometimes just kind of fly by the seat of your pants, grab some food, hang out. It's nice.
Man, you're real happy, aren't you?
I'm a happy guy.
Yeah, you're real happy.
What's there not to be happy about? The sun's
you get
shining.
to play log cabin in Bogey Club. I mean, most people can't even get within a mile of that place.
I would suggest not going in a mile. Like, if you have from certain areas, just, well, just like.
I'm going to distance myself from that. I am distancing myself from this entire show today now.
No,
I just announced it.
Like, just stay, go on 170 and just keep going. Take a detour, I don't know. I don't want to tell people where they can and can't drive, but.
They're talking it over in the YouTube chat, not about you, though. Somebody about with flabby arms?
Who's got flabby arms?
I don't know.
That guy for Indiana State kind of had some flabby arms. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He could play, though. He could play some ball. He probably deserves to be there over Virginia.
Nice win in the NIT. Jackson, do you have another question on this Little Piddles Friday six-shooter? And is it about flabby arms?
It's not. It's kind of a quick hitter. Back to the sport of hockey. And kind of an interesting question. There's also an interesting question came from the text line.
Yeah, Air Comfort Service text line to you.
But I think I'm going to go with this hockey question, and then if you hate it, I'll go with one from the text.
Okay, what do we got?
So yesterday in sports history, Wayne Gretzky tied Gordie Howe's record with 801 goals. When looking at what the Great One has done, is there anyone in sports who have done more or impacted the game that they played more so than what Wayne did for hockey?
Tiger Woods. And it's like an insta-ship.
Really?
Wow, I'm surprised you disagree with that. And this is not a golf-centric take. I think somebody that's...
I'm not saying you're wrong by any means, because I think that certainly for the modern game of golf, it's Tiger all day. But nobody wears 99 out of respect. Like, that to me is like...
That's your argument. Sit down, counselor.
Well, the fact that if he didn't score a goal, he'd still be the points.
So, Tiger didn't have a number. That's for the dumbs. You're better than that. That's for the dumbs.
Well, I think that's a real point. I think if people were 23 in basketball.
Okay, it's got nothing to do with who grew their game more, though.
Yeah, well, but impacted. I'm not necessarily growing.
Well, it's the same thing. Now you're just changing the word to attempt to change the argument. It's the same thing. Growing the game, impact on the game. You don't believe what you're saying right now.
Listen to me. I'm with you. I think Tiger is more important.
I'm not sure if Wayne Gretzky walked in here, you'd even know who he is.
Now right there. That part. He's the king of the turtlenecks. You think I don't know about Wayne Gretzky?
Jay Delsing texting my phone. He went Tiger or Muhammad Ali. Now you're up against Jay Delsing.
Now that Muhammad Ali is.
Now you're gonna be found in an eject space.
That's a good one. I'm just looking. I just don't think it's like as a quick of a write-off. I think there's a conversation.
If you say with taking Tiger Woods out of the equation.
Well, then now.
Well, but it's your question, and then you argued for Wayne Gretzky.
Well, I'm not necessarily arguing. I'm with you on Tiger. I think that's the answer.
You are? Well, then why are you arguing with me?
For the sake of conversation.
So you are Orlowskiing. You're Orlowskiing. You're giving a take you don't believe in. Are you wearing a suit with bright white shoes?
Almost there. Halfway there. I kind of got my little sweater on.
Don't Orlowski.
I'm not trying.
A balloon party.
Well, I'm not arguing for Wayne Gretzky. I'm just saying that the conversation, I think, is a little bit more robust than just like a quick, no, it's Tiger. Like, I think that there's
It's just, you bring in so many different elements with what Tiger Woods did. Youth, race, golf courses being built because of it. Now to the point that, well, at least there was a point where there are too many built because of it. And they both dominated their sport. So it's not a qualification on which sport is better or who is better, but I'm talking about impact. And also the way that people play the game now is totally different because of him. So It's an Insta ship for me.
Okay.
And I know there might be a hockey guy who's like rage texting or post it right. Then it's fine.
Yeah, and they're with me now.
I know. Yeah, you made a meta play on the way out for this week.
Here's my concession.
By aligning with hockey guy and then admitting you were playing Dan Orlovsky the whole time.
Here's my concession.
I'm disgusted.
My concession is that
You're conceding on a point that you already acknowledged you don't believe in.
Yeah, that's right. Welcome to the Piddle Show, brother. Is that the legend or the myth of Gretzky is only second to maybe Babe Ruth in terms of their sport? Like the greatness of it is like so like it's such a legacy. Whereas if we're talking straight impact, I think it's Tiger. Maybe Muhammad Ali is a good from Jay Delsing there. But like the mystery and the legacy of Gretzky is right up there with Ruth. But in terms of straight impacting a sport, it'd be tough to argue for anybody but Tiger.
Which, of course, was the question I was asked under oath on this program.
And so now I've moved.
Not realizing I was participating in a skit.
Well, Orlovsky in me would just never die. Like, I would never come off the hill.
Right.
I've come off the hill, so clearly I'm not Orlovsky.
Yeah. And that's why he's in Bristol right now yelling at Stephen A. Smith, and you're here playing games with me.
Yeah. Well, I'm wearing old beat-up shoes. I better have a brand-new pair if I was Orlovsky making that kind of money. I will do that. I don't care. I'll sell my soul. It seems like everyone else does it. Why not just join in?
Jackson, I think you have time for this one other question that you liked from the Air Comfort Service text
did.
line.
What do you think is more likely in the next 5 years? The Cubs win the World Series or the Cardinals? Cubs don't have to deal with the TV situation like the Cardinals do. They got their own thing with Marquee.
Boy.
I think it's a good question.
Since I don't play skits, my honest answer is I don't know what the Cubs' young pitching looks like.
Right.
And that is kind of an issue that I wonder about with both teams. That's why I'm such an advocate for, if you're not close to winning, taking a step back in order to take two forward.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to see happen last year at the trade deadline for the Cardinals. I still really don't know what happened there. Maybe someday I'll find out if Arenado said he didn't want to go anywhere. Goldschmidt said he didn't want to go anywhere, but I don't know. I don't get it. That's how you get closer to a championship. Those trade deadlines where you have a rare season where you're just totally out of it. And the Cardinals haven't had many, but that was an opportunity. So, but here's the honest answer: is I don't know what the Cubs' youth situation is when it comes to their pitching staff. I do know this: none of the guys pitching for the Cardinals in 2024, at least what's going to be in the opening day rotation, and we'll count Sonny Gray in there since the expectation is he'll be there within the first couple of weeks, will maybe, with the exception of Zach Thompson, will be on the roster in 2027.
Yeah, right.
And that's...
Or in baseball, honestly, by 2027.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm more comfortable saying they'll be in tree stands than in baseball. Jackson, we got a break for the weekend, and that means BK and Ferrario are coming back. Maybe over the weekend you can learn not to be Dan Orlovsky.
I'll grow this weekend.
Oh my gosh!
I'll grow.
Wow.
I'll grow.
Well, that's something to look forward to. Jackson's going to grow this weekend. I haven't grown ever, so I will be back at the same height, sitting on phone books on Monday. This has been Balloon Party on 101 ESPN.